overlooked much of the time and much taken for granted. There was a great program this morning on NPR on the cost of transportation in Minnesota and cities. And comment was made that, you know, we want these things taken care of, and then we write so much about the delays. That, you know, we see people out working on the roads, and boy, it's an inconvenience. But you can't have it both ways. You know, we want those projects to go forward. There are jobs, people are working hard to make these things happen and provide safe transit for all of us. I'm delighted to see the opportunities that we're exploring, and we need to look at all options. I'd be open to questions.
Hello, I'm Kay Anderson. I'm the DFL candidate for House of Representatives here in Woodbury on the east side. And I, for one, am always grateful when I run into construction, because I know that my coffee will not spill, which I actually don't use because I would be unsafe driving. But I think about it. And as a new candidate, you probably, I don't have a great story like Joanne has to say, but I've been on the planning commission for the city of Woodbury for the last 5 years, and I've been watching the city grow. And a lot of the issues about transportation affect the growth of the city, the planning department. I've been a Woodbury resident for 20 years, and I've watched the city grow. And I think that even though I'm new to this, I'd really like to see a comprehensive transportation package. I'd like to see a comprehensive transportation package with options. And there is a different demographics. They are taking public transportation, and they're using it. And when you take a look at the express bus in Woodbury, I don't know how many of you actually ride the express bus. Okay, well, I did it. Okay, one, good job, awesome. And did you notice that if you are 1 second late, you'll only be standing room only? You'll park almost 2 blocks away because people use it. People use express bus, and if the transit system comes in, people will use that. And what's really interesting is all of us are getting older. Please don't tell me I look. But people are getting older, and who's going to do all that work in Woodbury? So we're going to need workers to come to Woodbury, and they might not always have the transportation to get here. So we need options. And one more thought, a couple of thoughts. One of the organizations that I was with worked on remote workers and got people off the roads. And another thought is, did you see what the polar vortex did to our roads? Maybe that has something to do with climate change. Maybe we work on climate change, but a long-term strategy can also help with this. Get people off the roads, but have a comprehensive transportation package across the board with options, working across the aisle with a public-private partnership. Anyway, Kay Hendrickson, thank you very much, Margaret, for holding this event. It's been very informative.
Hi everyone, I'm Sharon Wilson, and I'm running for Congress in the 4th District, the U.S. House seat here, and that's, as you probably all know, it is in Washington County. For a long time it was just Ramsey County, St. Paul, but now it's been redistricted, so it includes great portions of Washington County, including Woodbury and Stillwater and Afton. I grew up in St. Paul, lived here pretty much my whole life. I remember when Woodbury was a farm. Almost all of it. Rode my bike from St. Paul over to Afton. And that was a great adventure. So I've seen this infrastructure come into place, and I've seen this place develop into the wonderful community it is today. I'm running for Congress because I think we can do better than moving right down in federal Congress anyway. You know, both sides are fighting too much, fighting each other. It looks like a political game of whack-a-mole in Washington, D.C., and I think we've had enough of that. So I'm running to be part of Congress that works together for the people and on things that matter. about that is we're thinking about the numbers that we're talking about here. If we could get that federal debt under control, and we weren't wasting $10 billion a year per state on interest, we could fund some of these projects much better without having to raise taxes. And so I think that's an important thing for us all to be thinking about, why it's so important in Washington to get that debt under control. So without spending more in tax money, we can get these projects done. I know we disagree about how to prioritize a lot of things, but I bet no one would prioritize interest. We prioritize infrastructure. We prioritize education. We prioritize jobs. So that's what I'm about, trying to help us there, help ourselves here. Now, I tell everyone we cannot spend more at the federal level. We're going to have to cut down to catch our, so we balance our budget, and we reduce the debt, we pay off the debt. But even though we're going to have to decrease overall spending, I know we're going to have to focus in some areas, perhaps some more. Infrastructure is probably one of those places. So I want you to know that I'm in favor of that, support that, understand that. But in order to do that right, we have to prioritize. And that's what we're talking about here. What are our transportation infrastructure priorities? And we have to be really careful right now because we don't have extra money. We have to prioritize the places that really result in an investment. Not just an expenditure, but a real investment. You know, you spend money on a vacation, it's just spending, you invest in some kind of car, you can get to your job, you invest in education, you can get to a better kind of economic situation for yourself. We have to invest in infrastructure in ways that make sense. So what I'd like to close with is one of the things we're doing here that we have to do is focus on transparency. Have conversations within our community, everyone in the community, about what our true desires and goals are. We have to be transparent about the options, so I commend you for doing a great job of pulling together the options. Be transparent about what the options are, the costs are, and then as a community, let's come together to make decisions in our heart, but where we really do want to spend the money, and be clear about what the options are for spending and what the trade-offs are. You know, the more we spend in one area, the less we have in other areas. So we have to balance some really critical things, but that's what I'd like to at least share with you all as to what where I'm coming from, and I appreciate the conversation here today. I'll be around for questions, or you can always contact me through my website. But thank you for this opportunity today. I think it's tremendous.
Hi, I'm Kelly Fenton, and I'm running for state representative in Woodbury District 53B. That's the east side. I want to thank Margaret and all of the presenters here today for bringing us together and giving us information. There's no doubt that there are significant transportation needs in Minnesota, and it's clear that most of our needs are roads and bridges. Our roads and bridges need more attention. I also want to point out that in this last bonding session, it was disappointing that we're spending $6 on buildings for every dollar on roads and bridges. I would have liked to see a little bit more investment in our infrastructure. But however, before we consider another tax increase, we should look at other funding mechanisms. After the last gas tax went into effect, the MnDOT agreed that it would find 15% efficiencies within its budget to help fund projects. And it looks like you guys gave some examples of working on your efficiency. Funding priorities should be on roads, bridges, and bus transportation. At the end of the day, this isn't about me. I'm running to represent the citizens of Woodbury. So I will work with our state, county, and local level government leaders to make sure that our community has the needs and transportation that best fit Woodbury. So with that, I do have to take off. I'm late to another meeting, but again, I want to thank the Transportation Alliance for putting this together.
And it looks like we have a new candidate.
Well, I'd like to apologize. I'm Representative Dan Schoen, and I'd like to report that my third grader and kindergartner are doing just fine at conferences tonight. And I want to thank our folks from all the transportation sectors, county, local, and state, because as you can hear right now, you folks are the whipping post for the budget talks as it goes to transportation funding and whatnot. The reality is, you know, I'm sorry I didn't hear the discussion, but certainly Wayne and I have talked a lot over the last year about various projects throughout the county, especially in my district, and sometimes he's been happy to hear from me and other times not, but we always leave smiling. You know, I guess, oh, it's outside of the discussion, the big topic is, are we gonna raise the gas tax, or how are we gonna fund this? And you heard Kelly talk about, we gotta fund it. Well, you know what, that means, okay, where's the increased funding gonna come from? I don't know. That's gonna be a discussion this year. That's gonna be a real discussion, because we know that the gas tax is not providing the funding mechanism that it did. The bonding bill is not the only place to do infrastructure projects for bridges and everything. It's not the only. It's something that, it's a tool, but it can't be the only place we need reliable funding, because there's other projects that happen throughout the state, whether you need a water line in southern Minnesota to keep water for there, and that's a business thing. That's when we bonded for a water line down in southern Minnesota, that was to help businesses. And businesses are gonna have to be at the table to talk about, what are you gonna support? And the reality is, folks that are more conservative leaning are gonna have to say, where do you wanna raise revenue? Where are you gonna lean in and stand up and work with us bipartisanly to say, what are we gonna support? It's not gonna be an easy conversation, because it's been put off too long and the needs are too great. There's no doubt about it. And your folks' job is not gonna get any easier when every year they come in and tell you to go cut some more, go cut 5% more. Well, at some point, we're back to gravel roads and we don't have bridges. We're gonna be putting timbers across the Mississippi River to figure out how we're gonna traverse this thing. So, if you're looking for the plan tonight, I don't have it. I don't sit on the transportation committee. I've got a couple other areas. But it's very vitally important when I go down Highway 61 from St. Paul into Cottage Grove. And the reality is, when you look at the cliff face and there's rocks, there's not a lot of area left to buy a right-of-way for roads. So it's not just gonna be roads, it's gonna be mass transit, whether it's dedicated busways, and 50 years from now, rail lines. I don't know, we'll get it figured out. So let's all work together. We're gonna need your input as well too, but we're gonna need people to stand up and say, yes, I support this, let's go, and let's get this done.
I'd like to add one other thing very quickly. We've talked about getting employees to and from work, and people getting about their busy lives. We haven't talked about the trucks. We haven't talked about getting materials to businesses. We haven't talked about getting their products back out to the market. And all over the state, was easy is reversible, because all of the energy went to the western suburbs, West Metro. And they're moving, they're moving. And Susan and I sit on 94. And Dan talks about coming out 61. Well, I know when I'm gonna get 61, I might have to get off and go through town, because it is a parking lot. So, we really have to do something. It is a waste of time and energy, talent, and fuel, and all sorts of other resources that you could think of, to have people sitting in a parking lot.
Anyone else want to jump in on the question?
Well, I heard that if you're a freshman, they don't give you any desirable committees. So I don't know what I do, but I do know that it's very important. And having commuted from Woodbury to Woodbury, Minneapolis, Woodbury to St. Paul, it depends, there's a 5-minute window when you leave the house. It's either a parking lot or it's smooth sailing, everybody's going about 90 miles an hour. So I would like to see a comprehensive plan, and I don't know about the transportation committee. But I do want to make sure that the order goes through, there's not a lot of opposition to it, and I really want options on the east side.
I thought it was pretty clear about expressing my support for infrastructure and transportation, but let me just make that really clear, that's why I'm here. I understand the importance of it. At the federal level, though, we have to be candid that we really are in a debt hole that's so deep. We need our congressional folks to be honest with us. We're paying so much money in debt, and we don't have money for lots of things. I don't think there's gonna be money for bells and whistles, that's what we have to prioritize, it really makes sense. We need to make sure our roads and bridges are well maintained and are safe and are adequate, but we need folks also in Washington to be honest with us, saying, hey, we spent the money, we're in a debt hole, we have to figure that out. There isn't room for bells and whistles, we must be really, really careful to prioritize right now. But I'm here running in part because I think our Congress has failed us by digging this hole of debt so deep that we're releasing tax dollars to the tune of, on average, $10 billion a year from Minnesota. What could we do with that money? So I'm here to help us get out of that hole, so we aren't diverting tax dollars to that, so we can focus. But in the meantime, I'm here to say, of course, I recognize this is one of the areas that's critical.
Yeah, I guess my, I'm not on the transportation committee. I just, advocate for it by probably sometimes snipe at the folks over in the, on the Southwest Light Rail when they're arguing with each other, and I'm like, we're ready. If you can't get together and get along well enough over there in the West, we'll take your funds and then you can regroup later. But, so I advocate for that a lot. And, as a police officer down in Cottage Grove, the safety of our roads and Wayne left, but I mean, when we talk about 70th Street and the issues that we had along there, County Road 19, it's a huge deal. So yes, we advocate quite regularly, whether it's communications directly to staff or legislation.
Okay, you wanna, I think this gentleman,
I'm really, my name's Steve Ellenwood, and I live in Woodbury, and I'm really quite disappointed in this because there was no talk of the driverless cars, as Google has got almost 1 million miles testing in California. I've learned just recently that the snow and ice issue is almost figured out through software, and here we are talking about putting $1 billion into a train system, and I'm just curious, if you were to ask, are you gonna take a driverless car that will take you anywhere, and safety won't even be an issue, because computers are controlling it all, as opposed to putting $1 billion into a train system or a bus system, which one are you gonna take?
I just have to say that after having managed computer systems for the last 15 years, and I got Windows 8 and it crashed on me 7 times, I'm gonna wait.
A million miles in Google, and the only accident they had, they were stopped at a stop sign and somebody ran into the back of them. 1 million miles.
Something to look into.
Hey, the fact is, I've heard a lot of stories about that particular thing and different ideas of multimodal transportation. I mean, it just hasn't been on the forefront. And, if that is the issue, I haven't had anybody cars. And I I look forward to seeing you, next year and telling me more about it, so.
No problem.
I'm not saying you're wrong again, but it does come back to how many lane miles do we have, and where can we go? Still can't fit more cars on Highway 61.
No.
And whether they're driverless or not, I still need to move a large amount of people at one time to take those cars off the road.
People would stop going like this as they're driving and just left.
Yeah, if you need to leave, we understand, so,
Thanks very much for your time. Appreciate it.
you had a question?
Yeah, I wanted to get into a little bit more about moving goods and that type of thing. There's been a lot of controversy over pipelines. The lack of pipelines is causing an overabundance of oil moving on the rail lines, which means that commodities where agricultural community can't move. That probably puts more trucks on the road, I mean, it's a snowball effect, right? And to me, the big problem is we can't set a standard for companies that wanna invest in and build the pipeline. It causes us no tax implication at all. They're gonna put it there. In fact, it probably becomes a positive tax implication because they're gonna pay property taxes through the jurisdictions that they go across. What can we do to set a standard so that they're not continually having to jump through a higher hurdle and a higher hurdle to get these pipelines built?
Well, your question is about, I would say your question is critical of regulatory process.
Correct.
And some of that is federal, some of it's state, and that, it's just the process that's in place, but also that's important. We had a hearing about this, I'm burning the candle at both ends with kids working and campaign, so within the last 2 weeks, it could have been yesterday. Anyway, 2 weeks ago, where we had the folks from BNSF, CP Rail, we talked about oil, rail safety, we talked about what are we gonna do, and, what they made clear to us is whether the pipeline if it was in tomorrow, all that is gonna do is ease the burden on the increase, because it's only going to increase the output of the Bakken oil fields is only going to increase, and right now, rail traffic is the only way to get that out. And what they're talking about is, and the governor has asked this question and sat down with the previous to this, and they explained what they want to do, is have basically rail highways. I mean, they need to build another set of rail next to the other, so that they can go two ways without having to stop and wait for someone at a side spur and have this oil, which is evidently at a flash point at 73 degrees Fahrenheit, sitting in small towns or towns all over, including Cottage Grove, which I have CP Rail and BN Rail, where the large haulers, where they sit and park and wait to get into Pigson. And so that's a problem too. The pipeline, I can't tell you exactly, I don't necessarily understand every aspect of that regulatory process and how it works out. But, that question is being talked about, and whether you support it or not, we're gonna need to have, the ability to move more goods, because a rail car of corn 2 years ago cost $400. It was $400 for the rail car, and now it's, thousands. And so that's gonna translate into, when you go to buy your oatmeal and Wheaties, people are gonna notice this sooner or later. Because, there's about a 65, sometimes depending upon where you are in the state, a 65-cent or 30-cent margin on what the value of that, bushel of corn can be for transportation. Well, when you talk about a 600-800% increase in the cost, that gets eaten up pretty quick. But again, they're telling us that even so, with the pipeline,